The smile program. It started small, like everything weird does. A guy at the coffee shop smiled at me. Big deal, right? Except it was off. Too perfect. Like he'd practiced in a mirror for hours. Symmetrical, wide, teeth showing just enough. And the eyes? Empty. Like his brain had unplugged. And only the smile was left on autopilot. Whatever. I ignored it. Figured he was trying too hard to be friendly. But then my boss smiled the exact same way. Same head tilt, same blink timing, same tone of voice when he said, "Today's a good day, isn't it?" I laughed it off. Said, "Sure, man," and got on with my morning emails. Then the lady at the deli, the delivery driver, the guy jogging past my apartment. "Today's a good day, isn't it?" Always the same. Same smile, same words, every single time. By Thursday, I'd stopped answering. Just nodded or walked away. Friday, I got cornered. At the crosswalk outside my office, 4 people, strangers, stood around me. 2 in front, 2 behind. They all turned at once. "Today's a good day, isn't it?" It wasn't a question. It was a statement, a directive. I didn't respond. Just stared at them until the walk light blinked and I bolted across the street. At home, I closed every blind. Deadbolted the door. Sat on the couch in the dark, scrolling through old photos just to remind myself life used to be normal. That's when I noticed the first change. Every photo with people in it, random street shots, crowds at concerts, group selfies, had someone in the background. Smiling, not a grin, not a candid. That same damn smile. Staring straight at the camera. I checked the metadata. Some of these were years old. I hadn't noticed before. I deleted the album. The next day they were back. Not just the files, printed versions. On my kitchen table. I live alone. My phone buzzed. Unknown number. I answered out of reflex. "Today's a good day, isn't it?" I hung up. Turned off my phone. Packed a bag. Drove 3 hours to my brother's place upstate. When I got there, he smiled at me. Not a happy smile. Not even a tired one. Just that same smile. "Hey, you made it," he said. "Today's a good day, isn't it?" I backed out, slammed the car door, drove until I ran out of gas. Spent the night in the back seat, locked in, keys in hand, radio off. Every now and then, I'd see headlights pass. Slow, like they were scanning for something. I think it was me. At dawn, I walked to the nearest diner, asked to use the phone. The waitress smiled. "Today's a good day, isn't it?" I ran. Tried calling old friends. No one picked up. Checked my email. Hundreds of messages. Subject lines. "Today's a good day." All blank inside. Just a signature. The smile program. I don't know what it is. I don't know how it spreads. But I've seen enough movies to know this isn't just some social experiment. Something's rewriting people. Not just what they say, but who they are. Like a patch update for humans. I've stopped talking to strangers, stopped looking people in the eye, stopped answering the door. But last night, I caught myself in the bathroom mirror, smiling. And I swear to God, I wasn't trying to. Borrowed voice, it started with a commercial. Just some generic ad for a vacation rental site. Mountains, lakes, a couple laughing around a fire pit. Nothing special. Except the voiceover. That was me. Not someone who sounded like me. It was me. My cadence, my tone, the way I dropped the G at the end of Garen's. I'd never recorded it, never did any voiceover work. But there it was, narrating a damn ad for log cabins. I thought maybe it was a weird glitch, some AI scrape gone wrong, deep fake stuff. Creepy, yeah, but not supernatural. Then I checked my old voicemails, one from my mom, 3 years ago. I remembered it. She was yelling at me about not calling her back. But now, her voice was gone, replaced with mine. Hey, it's me. Just checking in. Hope you're doing okay. Call me. My voice, talking to me. I listened to others. College buddy, ex-girlfriend, boss, all replaced, all my voice. Different tones, emotions, personalities, but still me. Then came the recordings I made myself. A podcast episode from last year. I used to review horror movies for fun. In the original, I trashed this found footage flick for being cliché. Now, I praised it like it was a masterpiece. The sentences were structured the same. The transitions matched. But the opinions were different. Rewritten. My backup drives were no help. Everything had been replaced. I asked my roommate, Wes, if he noticed anything. He said I'd always been into that movie. Even showed it to him. Nah, dude. You said it was underrated. Remember? We watched it on your projector. I don't have a projector. I started feeling watched, not in the usual paranoid way, but internally. Like my thoughts were being auditioned for replacement. I stopped speaking out loud when I didn't have to. Whispered when I was alone. Avoided leaving voice messages, turned off all smart assistants. But things kept slipping. The morning alarm on my phone, my voice now, saying, "Time to rise and shine," in this chirpy tone I would never use. I went to the corner store and the guy behind the register gave me my change while casually saying, "You sounded great on that cooking tutorial, by the way." I've never cooked anything more complicated than boxed mac and cheese. I looked it up. Found the video. A faceless demo with my voice explaining how to make some fancy reduction sauce. It had millions of views. And the comments, "Love this guy's energy. His voice is so calming. He should narrate audiobooks." Someone, something was building a version of me. Public, popular, polished. And it wasn't me. I tried to post a video online to clear things up, explain what was happening. I recorded it on an old digital camera. No mic, no network. Uploaded it from a library computer. When I checked it later, the video had changed. I was still in it. Same lighting, same shirt. But the words, different. I was talking about how fulfilling it was to help people with their culinary dreams. Smiling like a damn lifestyle guru. I smashed the camera. Wes stopped talking to me. Said I was acting weird. That I wasn't myself. He was right in a way. The last straw came yesterday. I got a call from a number I didn't recognize. Picked it up out of habit. "Hey," the voice said. It was mine. "Hey," I answered. "You really should let go." Of what? Control. It's exhausting, isn't it? Let me handle things. You'll feel so much better. Who the hell are you? I'm the better you. Click. I don't sleep anymore. Don't talk unless I have to. I keep a notebook now. Paper, pen, nothing digital. I don't even read it back. I think it knows when I do. Last night, I heard my voice again. Not on the phone, not online. From my closet. It said, "You'll come around. Everyone does." I think I'm losing, and I think I sound great doing it. The ones who watch. It started about 3 weeks ago. I live in a tiny town in Arizona, one of those places where you wave to your neighbors, even if you don't know their names, and you always know when someone gets a new truck. It's quiet, dry, a little too hot, and up until recently, kind of boring. Which I liked. The first night, I thought it was a trick of the light. I was brushing my teeth, looked up at the mirror, and saw movement in the window behind me. I turned fast, expecting maybe a dog or a stray cat on the porch. But it was my neighbor, just standing there. Linda, middle-aged, wears big hats, always smells like lavender. She was on her porch, but not sitting in her usual chair. She was standing, hands at her sides, facing my window, not waving, not smiling, just watching. I gave a half-awkward wave. Nothing. She didn't blink, didn't react. The next morning she acted normal, waved at me while watering her cactus, said good morning like she hadn't been full on staring into my house at 11:30 p.m. Okay, maybe she had insomnia. Maybe she didn't even know I saw her. But it didn't stop, and it wasn't just her. A couple nights later, I saw a different neighbor, Don, the guy who jogs shirtless and never says hi. He was standing across the street, same posture, just staring. Then it was the mailman. Then the barista from the only coffee shop in town. Always at night, always silent. I started sleeping with the blinds closed. Then I stopped sleeping. I tried telling Wes about it. He works at the gas station off Route 9. Thinks I'm paranoid already. When I said people were watching me, he shrugged and said, "Small towns, man. Everybody's nosy." But this wasn't nosy. Nosy is peeking through curtains, asking weird questions, hovering at the grocery store. This was different. This was direct. There was no curiosity in their faces, no concern, just this presence, like they were waiting for something. The worst part? It started happening. Inside. One night, I was washing dishes. My back window faces a narrow alley. There's a mirror on the wall above the sink. Not my idea, came with the place. I looked up, and in the reflection, I saw someone standing just outside the glass. Close. Closer than the porch. When I turned, there was no one there. But the alley smelled like perfume, like lavender. I stopped checking the mirror after that. I bought cameras, motion lights. Nothing helped. The footage showed nothing. The lights never triggered. But I saw them. One night I cracked. I stormed over to Linda's house and knocked hard. She answered immediately, like she'd been standing right there. "Were you just at my house?" I asked. She smiled. Too wide. "No, dear. But it's good you're starting to notice." "Notice what?" "Them. Us." She closed the door. I backed away, heartbeat in my ears. When I got home, someone was sitting on my porch swing, not moving, just staring at the door. I turned around and walked until sunrise. Didn't even take my keys. Now, I can feel it all the time. The attention. Even when I'm alone. Especially then. The walls seem warmer. The floor creaks like it's breathing. This morning, I caught myself staring out the window for 10 minutes. Not at anything. Just watching. Like them. Like us. Inside the routine, it started small. A snooze button that didn't work. A bus that arrived 10 seconds early. A missed call that came right as I reached for my phone. Nothing major. Nothing worth freaking out about. But it kept happening. My alarm went off at exactly 7 a.m. every morning. Sharp. Not 6:59. Not 7:01. My phone used to be unreliable. Sometimes it glitched, sometimes it lagged. Now, flawless, like someone was standing over it with a stopwatch. At first, it felt convenient. Even nice. My toast never burned. My coffee brewed just as I walked into the kitchen. The bus always pulled up right as I got to the stop. I joked to friends that the universe had finally decided to cut me a break. Then I tried sleeping in. Not by much, just 15 minutes. I didn't set an alarm. I figured, hey, I deserve a lazy Sunday. At 7 a.m. on the dot, my upstairs neighbor dropped something heavy. The thud jolted me awake. A car alarm followed. Then a baby cried somewhere down the hall. It was like the world would not let me sleep. So I went with it. Got up, brushed my teeth, caught the bus, which arrived early. Again, I started keeping notes, every detail, every pattern. Breakfast, toast, egg, black coffee, same thing every day. Bus driver, same guy, never speaks. Office elevator, always stops on 3 before hitting 7. Lunch, 12 p.m. exactly. Stomach growls 10 seconds prior. At first, I thought it was me, that I was falling into a routine and my brain was filling in the blanks. But I started testing it, leaving the apartment early, taking a different street, changing my order at the deli. Each time, something stopped me. Left early. Bus was delayed. Different street. Closed for construction. New lunch spot. Fire inspection. And always, someone would call me back. You forgot your keys. We missed you at your usual place. Everything okay today? Friendly, polite, but wrong. I called in sick one day. Stayed in bed. No alarms. No movement. At 9 a.m., my landlord knocked. Said there was a plumbing inspection. Said he'd need to check the pipes. There was nothing wrong with the pipes. He looked around too long. Asked if I was feeling all right. Smiled a little too wide. Just checking in, he said. I locked the door after he left. Pulled the curtains. Didn't move. Around lunchtime, I got a text from an unknown number. You skipped lunch? Everything okay? I threw my phone in the sink, left it running. The next day, everything was normal. Too normal. I went along with the routine, let it move me like a conveyor belt. Woke up at 7. Coffee at 7:10. Bus at 8 o'clock. Desk at 8:45. Lunch at 12. I didn't fight it. Not because I wanted to, but because I didn't know what else to do. Then I noticed James was gone. James worked 2 desks over. Always had loud phone calls. Used to whistle after lunch. No one mentioned him. His desk was clean. His nameplate gone. I asked HR about him. James? I don't think we have a James here. I checked old emails. Nothing. Photos? He wasn't in any of them. But I remember him. He used to bring those weird seaweed snacks. I think he tried to change his routine. I think he failed. Today, I skipped the bus, walked 5 miles in the heat, got to work an hour late. No one noticed. Not even my boss. Except for the receptionist. She smiled when I walked in. You're adapting, she said. Then she offered me a bottle of water. Same brand I always drink. I asked her what was going on. She didn't answer. Just smiled. Tonight, I'm not going home. I'm not going to bed at 10. I'm not brushing my teeth at 9:45 or setting an alarm. I don't know what happens when you break the cycle completely. But I think James tried. And I think James is gone. I know what you'll do. It started as a dumb joke. I bet you're going to get the ham sandwich, Nate said, pointing at the cafeteria menu. You always do. I did. But that wasn't a shock. I mean, I do always get the ham sandwich. It's a habit. Cheap, fast, not totally disgusting. The next day, we're walking to the parking lot after work, and Nate goes, You're going to drop your keys. I laugh, and sure enough, I fumble them out of my jacket. 2 for 2, he says, smirking. A week in, it's not funny anymore. You're going to check your phone in about 5 seconds, he says, while we're in line for coffee, and then pretend like you didn't just read that message. I stare at him. I don't have a message. My phone buzzes, one new notification, group text. He just grins. Doesn't even look at his phone. Doesn't even look at me. It's not just Nate. My barista finishes my order before I say anything. The receptionist hands me my mail before I give her my name. I get a call from my mom and she says, "I knew you were going to call me tonight." Except, she called me. I try to throw them off, start taking different routes home, change my lunch spot, start writing notes on paper instead of typing. It doesn't help. People finish my sentences. A cashier at the gas station says, "Pump 3, right?" When I hadn't even opened my mouth, my dentist says, "You're going to cancel next week's appointment, aren't you?" And I was. But how did he know? It's not like they're guessing. It's like they already knew. Like they're reading from a script. I stopped texting. Stopped posting online. Went off the grid as much as I could without quitting everything. Didn't matter. A guy on the bus asked how my dog was doing. I don't own a dog. Not anymore. I started whispering my thoughts out loud at home, just to see if anyone would react. Sometimes I'd say something random, like, "I'm gonna wear red socks tomorrow." Next morning, there's a new pair of red socks folded on my doorstep. I asked Nate, "How do you know?" He shrugged. "We just do." Who's we? Does it matter? You're not gonna do anything about it. He was right. I didn't. I tried to. I packed a bag, got in my car. No GPS, no calls, just drive. I made it 10 miles before I hit construction. A flagger waved me down and said, "Back to town. You left the stove on?" I had. Somehow. I don't even remember turning it on. That night, I threw out every smart device I owned. Anything that could track me, record me, listen to me. I even took the batteries out of the smoke detector. Didn't change a thing. My coworker looked at me the next morning and said, "Nice try." I don't think it's tech. I don't think it's surveillance. It's them. Whoever they are. Maybe they're not even people. Maybe they're just the ones who know what I'm going to say, know what I'm going to do, know who I am, and the worst part? I think I'm starting to like it. Not having to choose, not having to decide, just letting it happen. Because at least if they know what I'm going to do, then maybe I don't have to be responsible for any of it. Echo people. It started with small things. I'd say something dumb, like "I'm starving." And then 10 seconds later, someone next to me, coworker, barista, whoever, would say the same thing. Same tone. Same words. I'd laugh it off. Coincidences happen, right? But it kept happening. I'd tap my foot during a meeting, and a second later, 3 people around the room would start tapping too. I'd scratch my nose, and a stranger across the street would mirror it like we were synced. At first, it felt funny, like I was setting trends without trying. But then it turned weird, like last Tuesday. I texted my brother, "You up?" at 1:13 a.m. I swear to God, I saw my neighbor, who I barely talked to, pull out his phone at 1:14 and type something. 1 minute later, I got a reply. "You up?" from my brother. But he said he never sent it. The timing got tighter, closer, more precise. I tried testing it. In the break room at work, I opened a random app I never use, notes, and typed "pineapple hat." I didn't speak it, didn't look at anyone. Just typed. 5 minutes later, I overheard 2 guys from accounting in the hallway talking about how they should start a hat company. Like something tropical, maybe pineapples. That's when I stopped smiling about it. I started recording myself. Voice notes, video logs, writing weird thoughts in locked journals. Stuff only I'd know. But then, pieces of it showed up in other people. A lyric I made up appeared in someone's Instagram story. A joke I wrote down ended up in a late-night set from a small-time comedian I'd never met. Same delivery, same punchline. It wasn't coincidence anymore. And then came the day it switched. I was walking through the grocery store, thinking I'd grab eggs and maybe some ramen. Just thinking. I hadn't said anything yet. Then a guy behind me muttered, "Eggs and ramen again." I froze, turned around. He looked right at me like he'd been caught cheating on a test. Then he smiled, shrugged, walked off. After that, it wasn't me first anymore. I'd open the fridge and my roommate would say, "Don't bother, we're out of milk," before I could ask. I'd decide to go for a run, and the weather app would alert me to lace up. I didn't even have it set for notifications. It's like the world was finishing my sentences before I even thought them through. Like I wasn't the signal anymore, just the echo. The worst was yesterday. I sat down to write all this out, tried to map it, tried to make sense of it. I looked up research, forums, weird Reddit threads. Nothing felt real anymore. I started to wonder, am I hallucinating? Slipping? Then I got a call. Unknown number. Voice on the other end said, "You're doing well. Keep going." "Who is this?" "You'll see," the voice replied. And I swear, it was my voice. Not similar, not close, mine. The same slight rasp, same cadence. I checked my phone history. No record of the call. That's when I noticed the mirror. I was alone, middle of the night. The bathroom light was off, but moonlight hit just right. My reflection blinked a half second too slow, then smiled. Not at the same time as me, not a reflection, a response. Now, when I speak, I wait. I listen. Because somewhere out there, something's listening too. Watching. Timing. Repeating. But it's not following me anymore. I think I'm following it. Offline hours? You ever notice how dead things get around here between 2 and 4 in the afternoon? Like, not just quiet. Dead. Like the town just gives up for 2 hours and waits for the sun to pass. I used to think it was just the heat. Arizona afternoons can feel like you're walking through soup. The kind that burns. People nap. ACs hum. Dogs hide in shadows. That kind of vibe. But then I started working from home, and I really noticed it. The silence isn't just outside. It creeps in. No phone pings, no traffic, no lawnmowers or kids or barking. Even my neighbor, who's always yelling at his TV, shuts up for exactly 2 hours. Then, at 4:01, the world coughs back to life. The first honk, the AC kicking louder, a dog barking like it's been holding it in. It's like hitting on pause on a movie. I wouldn't have thought too hard about it, except for what happened last Thursday. I was on a Zoom call with my boss. Nothing exciting. Budget talk. The call cut out at 2 o'clock sharp. Just froze. I thought my Wi-Fi dropped, but no error message came up. Everything else blinked out too. My laptop screen went gray. Phone died. Clock stopped ticking. Even weirder, the fan I keep on my desk kept spinning. Slower, like syrup. But spinning. I stepped outside. The heat hit like usual, but it was stiller. No wind, no bugs, no sound. I walked down the block, and every car was parked. Every person I passed was mid-motion. Frozen, but not like statues. Like mannequins mid-stride. I got close to one, a woman I sorta know from the diner. Her eyes were open. Not blinking. Not seeing. just stuck. I waved a hand. Nothing. Said her name. Nothing. I ran home. Inside, everything was still off. Except me. I was still moving. And I wasn't alone. At 2:17, the front door opened. No knock, no sound. A guy walked in. Tall, pale, wearing something like a janitor uniform, but all gray. His eyes were white. No pupils. And he looked at me like I was the mess he had to clean up. I didn't move. Didn't breathe. He walked past me like I wasn't there. Went into the living room. Pulled out a little device, waved it around like a scanner, and frowned. Then he looked right at me. "You're not supposed to be active," he said. Voice flat, like a voicemail robot. I don't know what's happening. You weren't selected. Selected for what? He tilted his head, clicked the device, and suddenly I couldn't move. Not paralyzed. More like disconnected. Like my limbs weren't mine. He walked up close, examined my face. "We'll adjust." Then everything went black. When I woke up, it was 4:06, sun lower, a sea buzzing, phone full of messages. No one remembers anything. They act like nothing happened. My boss thought I ghosted the call. The woman from the diner didn't even know what I was talking about. But it's not over. Because now, every day at 1:59, I feel it coming, like a curtain dropping. And sometimes, just sometimes, I see people moving in the silence, not the frozen ones, the ones like me. Someone else's schedule. It started with a calendar notification I didn't set. Meet with H. No location, no last name. Just the letter. At 3:45 p.m. I deleted it, thinking it was a sync error or some prank app glitch. My phone had been acting weird lately. A little slow, sometimes flickering when I unlocked it. I blamed an update. But the next morning it was back. Same entry. Same time. And not just that one. There was another event. Don't take the usual route. It was marked for 8:10 a.m. I laughed. It felt like some alternate universe productivity app was trying to run my life. I ignored it. Took my usual route to work. There was an accident on the corner of 5th and Oak. 5-minute delay. Nothing big. But still. That night, another entry appeared. Call from private number. Do not answer. I answered. Silence. Then breathing. Then a voice I didn't recognize whispered my name. The next day, the calendar was full. Back-to-back entries. Eat later than usual. Say yes to Julie. Don't wear blue. I thought about a virus, a stalker, maybe some AI playing God. I tried resetting the phone. Factory reset? Nothing worked. The calendar came back blank, then refilled itself over the next hour. Same appointments, same tone. Not suggestions, orders. And they were always right. One entry said, "Run 5 minutes late." I ignored it and left on time. I got stuck in an elevator at work, alone, for 20 minutes. Another one, "Check your back door." It was unlocked. I started following them. At first it felt like a joke, then a safety precaution, then a necessity. Like these entries knew more than I did, like they were protecting me from something I couldn't see, until the tone changed. Skip your mom's call. Delete the message. Don't help him. These weren't just about my day anymore. They were about people, about pulling away, shutting out, making myself small. Then came the entry I can't stop thinking about. This is the week you disappear. I tried everything. New phone, no sync, different calendar app. But it's not the app. It's not even the phone. It's in me now. Every time I wake up, there's something waiting, etched behind my eyelids. Instructions. And part of me, a growing part, wants to follow them. Because maybe if I do, I'll understand what I'm becoming, or who wrote this schedule in the first place. The correction office. It started with a letter. Just a plain white envelope, sitting on my kitchen table when I got back from work. No stamp, no return address. Just my name on the front in block letters. Inside, a single sheet of paper. At the top it read, "Your recent statements have been flagged for correction." Below that was a list, an actual bulleted list of things I had apparently said, along with approved versions of those same sentences. The first one caught my eye. Original. I hate how cold this office gets. Correction. I prefer a warmer working environment. What the hell? I thought maybe it was a prank. Maybe someone at work trying to be funny. But the rest of the list wasn't funny. It was personal. Original. I'm not sure I want kids. Correction. I'm open to the idea of parenting in the future. Original. Sometimes I feel really alone. Correction. I value my independence. Who the hell knew I'd said these things? Some were from texts, others from late-night phone calls. One was straight from my journal. I knew that because of the exact wording. Something I'd scribbled at 2 a.m. months ago. I checked my phone. No signs of a hack. My cloud storage looked normal. Social media untouched. Nothing to explain it. I crumpled the letter and tossed it. That was Thursday. On Friday, the corrections started showing up in real life. My old tweet about how coffee makes me anxious? Gone. Replaced with, caffeine gives me a useful boost. My roommate swore I never told her I wanted to quit my job. Even though I remembered the conversation, the wine we were drinking, the damn hoodie I was wearing when I said it. By Saturday, my own memories started to feel edited. I'd try to remember something I said, and my brain would offer up the corrected version first. I had to fight to recall the real one. On Sunday, another envelope appeared. Same style, same message. Additional corrections pending. Compliance is appreciated. This time, the letter came with a small laminated card. It had a barcode and a logo. 3 horizontal lines inside a circle. Underneath, a name I'd never heard before. The correction office. I didn't tell anyone. Who the hell would believe me? I started leaving notes for myself. Physical ones. On paper. I wrote down what I really said. How I really felt. I hid them in books. Taped them under drawers. Just to remind myself later. But the letters kept coming. More corrections. More neutralized, sterilized versions of my life. I tried saying nothing for a whole day. Just silence. But when I woke up the next morning, there was a new note. Passive silence may be interpreted as non-compliance. I thought about leaving town, driving until I hit another state. But I'd read a correction the week before. Travel without prior notification may result in misunderstanding. I didn't remember writing that. Monday night, I heard a voice in my apartment. Not on a speaker. Not from outside. It was my voice. Saying things I hadn't said. In my tone, my rhythm. I'm grateful for the structure I've been given. My thoughts are clearer now. I trust the process. I smashed the mirror in the bathroom. Not sure why. Just needed something to break. The next day, the mirror was intact, like it never happened. Now, I'm not sure which thoughts are mine. I dream in their language. I wake up with phrases in my head that don't feel like me. I saw a man at the bus stop this morning holding the same card. I tried to talk to him. He smiled. Like too much. Too polished. I appreciate your commitment to clarity, he said. I didn't respond. I don't know what I would have said, or what would have been corrected. It's 6:03 p.m. I just got another envelope. This one's red, and it says, "Our professor's final revision. We thank you for your cooperation." Everyone remembers wrong. You ever walk into a room and feel like you've been there before, but not in a deja vu way? More like you know exactly what should be where, but everything's off. It started with my old high school. I went back to visit my hometown in Illinois for a weekend. Nothing special, just some family stuff. One afternoon, I had some time to kill, so I drove past my old school. Thought maybe I'd stop by, see if anything had changed. It wasn't there. I mean, the building was there, sure, but the name was different. It wasn't Roosevelt High anymore. The sign out front said McKinley Regional Academy. And when I parked and peeked through the fence, the colors were wrong. Wrong mascot, wrong mural on the gym wall, wrong everything. I thought maybe they just rebranded or something. You know, new name, new funding, whatever. I asked my mom about it that night over dinner. "What do you mean, Roosevelt?" she said. "You went to McKinley. You always did." I laughed. She didn't. No, seriously. Remember the blue and gold jackets? The Rough Riders? She gave me that look she used to give me when I'd say something sarcastic at the wrong moment. It's always been maroon and silver. You were a McKinley Hawk, same as your sister. I called my sister. She said the same thing. I thought maybe I was misremembering. Maybe I'd just gotten confused, and my brain filled in the blanks with something that never existed. But I still had my yearbook. At least I thought I did. When I got back home, I pulled it from the storage bin in my closet. Same black cover, gold trim, but when I flipped it open, maroon and silver. The Hawk mascot. McKinley class of 2011 across the first page. My picture was there, my name, but everything else was wrong. I started checking other things. Photo albums, old blog posts, even my college application essay, which mentioned my time on the Roosevelt debate team. But the scanned PDF now said McKinley. The photos with friends, same people, same smiles, but the Letterman jackets were maroon. Every trace of Roosevelt High had been wiped. I tried reaching out to old classmates. Most didn't respond. The ones who did? Yeah, McKinley was weird, huh? Like it was always that way. I found one guy, Danny Clark. We weren't close, but we'd had AP history together. He messaged me back late at night. Said, "Dude, thank God. I thought I was the only one. I remember Roosevelt, too." We planned a call for the next day. He never showed. When I tried messaging him again, the chat was gone, like we'd never spoken. I still had the notification on my phone, but when I tapped it, it just opened to a blank conversation. I started keeping a notebook, writing everything down the second I noticed something wrong. My dad's middle name changing from Alan to Edward. A pet I apparently never had. An old scar I couldn't explain suddenly gone from my knee. I went to a therapist, told her I thought I was losing my grip. She nodded through everything. Real calm, real quiet. At the end, she handed me a pamphlet. It said, "Cognitive Dissonance in Individuals Experiencing Memory Conflation." I told her I wasn't confusing anything. I knew what I remembered. She smiled. Sometimes it's easier to believe we're right than to accept we're alone. The next day, her office was closed. No listing online. No record of our appointment. Last night, I found a new envelope in my mailbox. No return address. Inside, a single photo. Me standing in front of Roosevelt High. Except someone had drawn a thick red X over my face. On the back, in block letters, corrections complete.